Guys, what's up? Darcy here at 6 Strings 9 Lives. So I thought I would do a video, kind of a condensed version of, things that I've been covering for the past 6 years. There's lots of you that have watched me that probably could name maybe these 10 bands that I will name today. Thrash being right up there with traditional metal for me. I've been a thrash fan since, I would say 1985 would be the key year, and some of these bands that we're going to talk about today will fall right into that year for sure. And I thought, so for some newer viewers to get to know me a little bit, we would kind of do the condensed version. I'm going to show in order of my favorite 10 thrash bands. We'll go from number 1 all the way to number 10. The bottom 5, I would say they're kind of loosely in there, but the top 5 is pretty secure with me. And go over my favorite album from each of the band. And then I'm going to throw in one, I wouldn't call it honorable mention, I would just call it a mention, because there's some albums here that I'm going to hold up that maybe I'm going to defend them. Maybe you didn't even know that I like them. But we'll talk about that too. I'd like to throw in the year that I discovered these bands too. Thrash was, it's still a key part of my life. Even newer stuff. I mean, I'm listening to Forbidden's album from 2010, fantastic album too. But yeah, any thrash bands that of these legacy acts that are still putting out albums, and in fact 9 out of 10 of these bands, actually all 10 are still active, but 9 out of 10 of them still make new music. There is a total of 137 studio albums with these 10 bands. And I'm going to only pick, I'm going to pick my 10 favorites, one from each of these bands, and hold it up. And like I said, those of you that have watched, you can, some of these will be predictable, but to put it all into one video and have some fun. And as usual, throw down in the comments your favorite thrash bands. And there's going to be a couple bands here that didn't quite make the cut. Doesn't mean they're shit, but if I could make the list 11, whatever. We can talk about that as we go. We're going to start off with, no surprise, my favorite thrash band of all time, Discovery, 1987. Overkill, favorite album. Do you know what I'm going to hold up? You can guess along as we go. And then I'll throw in, like I said, just an extra mention of something that I think maybe is underrated or you should know about. But there we go. Years of Decay. No surprise here. And if you're watching a thrash video with me, you probably know most of these albums. Maybe the mentions, the extra album I'll hold up, maybe I'll talk a bit more about that than I will of these. But this is no secret that this is my favorite Overkill album, which contains my favorite Overkill song of all time, which is Playing with Spiders, Skull Crusher. Yeah, I could listen to that every day. It never gets old. There it is. And what I'm going to mention with Overkill is kind of when they hit those 2000s, there was some bumps. I would say actually 96 to 2007. There was some bumps in the road, but there was one bright spot that I absolutely love this album. Produced by Colin Richardson, which you should know that name if you know some metal. But here's a sleeper. Killbox 13. If you've not given this a spin in the last 3 days, I'm just kidding, but go give this a spin again. Check out some tracks. My favorite track on here is called Crystal Clear. Check that one out and go from there. But there's kind of just a mention of a Overkill album I think you should know about. Coming in at number 2 for my obviously favorite thrash bands, and this, if you go back 6-7 years ago, this wouldn't even have been possible. And honestly, it wouldn't have been possible without you guys out there. I somehow missed the boat, but this band I absolutely invested a shitload of time in, money, whatever you want to say, and I feel like I know this band. Not quite as good as some of these other ones I'll show you, but I know them pretty damn good. But here is Kreator with my favorite Kreator album, Extreme Aggression. And when this was recommended to me, probably around 2017-ish, something like that, you weren't wrong. This is absolutely awesome. This is an album that I could play all the time. It is just so consistent throughout. I think back in the day, how I missed Kreator. I remember this logo clear as day, going to record shops. We had a one shop that would bring in imports and things like that. This actually wasn't an import because I think it was released on maybe Sony Music back. I don't remember as far as North America goes, but I remember this logo, but I thought the music was too extreme. It was next level compared to Metallica, Megadeth, and other stuff that I was listening to. It was a little more raw, stuff like that, but really happy to know it now. So there's Extreme Aggression, or Kreator. Made it all the way to be my number 2 thrash band. And just keep in mind, man, there's just little bits of wiggle room in between these bands. I mean, sometimes you just got to put things in order just to put things in order type of thing. But what I'm going to mention with Kreator, and there was one album that always hit the shit list with Kreator. Oh, don't listen to that. You can't listen to that. But this one, I'll tell you the truth, it is not the bottom of the pile Kreator for me. I think it's a unique one-off only album where they did this, and now you can predict what I'm going to hold up, but I'm going to defend this because I really do. This has grown on me a lot, and that is Kreator Endorama. 1999, you know what happens after that. 2001, they hit the gas pedal again with the thrash. And I know this video will be titled Thrash, but I think with the exception of a few of these bands, lots of them, maybe 3 or 4, really experimented. And I mean, Kreator in the 90s was messy, in my opinion. This was actually a bright spot of the 90s. Now that it's I've had a chance to really let it sink in. But Endorama, check out actually, if you want to check out a heavier track, check out Shadowlands and tell me it's not good. I don't mind. I can take a little bit of shit in the comments. That's okay, but I'm still gonna hold this one up. But there it is, Kreator. All right, number 3, you probably can see this coming. A band that I am absolutely proud of being with since day one. And that, 1 second. 1987, my all-time favorite thrash debut, my all-time favorite thrash album. This is it. Flawless, Testament, The Legacy. What else can I tell you? There's just no weakness on this thing. And some of you who know the band or might not know, but Steve Zetro Souza, who left to go join Exodus, he wrote 6 out of 10 of these songs. Lyrically, that's the one thing I wish Gary Holt would let Steve get more into these type of songs and these, you know, not some of this shit like clickbait and whatever they're singing about now these days, but actually, way outside of the box here, the last Exodus album, there is a song in there called Years of Death and Dying, which is written by Tom, the drummer. That is what I'm looking for Exodus. But anyways, sidebar. There it is. Now, my kind of, where is it now? The second one I'll throw up for Testament. Doesn't mean it's my second favorite or runner-up or anything like that, but if you maybe jumped off the Testament bus at a certain point and missed out on this one, there's a long gap after this, mind you, but this is the perfect mix right here. This is Testament, The Gathering, 1999. Then we wouldn't see Testament again. I don't know if I just said Exodus, but anyways, we wouldn't see Testament again until 2008 with Formation of Damnation, which is for one of my all-time favorite, we'll call it a comeback album, because it is phenomenal. Paul Bostaff's drumming on there for next level. But if you want the perfect mix of new and Old Testament, which this is older already, like this is 1999, but this is heavy. This is actually features Dave Lombardo on drums. Fantastic. I'm sure if you're watching this, you already know that, so which is cool. All right, coming in at number 4, another band that I got into late. As far as the German Big Four period, I am late to the party. But I tell you what, I am glad I'm at the party. Sodom. Here's my favorite Sodom album, M16. So this is the only band I have not ranked out of these 10 bands. All the other 9 of them I do feature in my whatever you want to call them, my video archives, whatever. And why? I don't have all of their catalog. A lot of it is very hard to get. I will one day get it all and do a nice ranking video, but we're going to give away a little bit right now because I'm not sure if, there's great albums like Agent Orange, Persecution Mania. Will they overtake this? I don't know, but this is right around one of the first albums that I heard from Sodom, and this is just top to bottom. Check out my favorite track on here is Marines. I didn't mention any favorite tracks on the Legacy because you know what? The whole album is my favorite track. But as far as The Gathering goes, my favorite track on there is True Believer. Just awesome, perfection. Chuck's vocals, totally awesome. And now with this Sodom, I almost just gave away. What I'll mention too is another album that was really probably second or third I heard from Sodom. Decision Day, just really, really great. Well, fantastic artwork. But this is a solid album. This is before all the lineup changes came. They were still a 3-piece at this time with Brenneman on a guitar and of course Tom. And what was I going to tell you? On this one, I just wouldn't sleep on this album. This is really good. I do like their current lineup with Frank Blackfire back on guitars too, but I'll throw this one out there as kind of just a mention. It would probably be up there in my ranking once I put that together. Like I said, I got a few more to pick up. All right, coming in at number 5, and this is solid number 5. This is Discovery. Would be probably early 86. You know what? I did not know of the first album until after. Don't know how, I really don't know how I missed it. Maybe I did know it, but the whole story with Megadeth and Metallica, Dave Mustaine. But here is my number 5 favorite thrash band, and that is Megadeth. And here's my favorite album from Megadeth. A lot of people hold up Rust in Peace. I won't argue with that because that happens to be my second favorite, and really honestly by a slim margin. But this was my first new Megadeth album shortly after release. I probably had this within a month of it coming out. Saw the video for Wake Up Dead on Canada's Much Music, and I was just, wow, this is just next level stuff. I think I remember my first, the cassette version. I don't know if it had the lyrics in it, but I had a friend who had the vinyl version. And I went over and I said, can I borrow the inner sleeve? I need to go, if you remember what photocopiers are, I went and photocopied the lyrics and just, songs like The Conjuring, between its leaves, place a lash from a black cat's eye. I just wanted to absorb, I wanted to know every lyric on this. This album also, besides the fantastic artwork, the whole story, and probably, I don't know, this would be absolutely tied for my favorite lineup of the band, and the other favorite lineup would be. But this album contains my favorite closing track of all time, My Last Words. I just get the chills at the end. Die! Oh, man. And that guitar tone, unreal. All right, there's Megadeth coming in at number 5. Now, this is an honorable mention because this happened to be my favorite album of 2022. Just slightly beating out, I think, Kreator, actually. It was a good year for thrash. Anyways, so here we are, 16. Album number 16, The Sick, The Dying, and The Dead. This has got some variety on it for sure, and I like it. But the good stuff on here is phenomenal. I know as corny as Mission to Mars sounds, that song has got some peaks and valleys. And when it gets near the end, that crushing part, oh, so cool. Like the outro part, awesome. But yeah, if you got songs here like, Soldier On, Night Stalkers, We'll Be Back, oh, just killer. I'm looking forward to another Megadeth album. I thought, maybe this will be the last, but they got their new guitar player. I mean, many lineup changes over the years and whatever. I mean, we were talking about that. Every band seems to have one leader for sure, if not two leaders, and the rest of the guys, it's just like, hey guys, time to come in the studio. The songs are all ready. We need all your solos and we need all your bass parts, that type of thing. But yeah, there you go. All right, coming in at number 6, and maybe this is okay. And this is the part where these are kind of loosely thrown in here, but hey, it's how I feel today. This is another band that when I found out back in '86 that this guy who joined a huge band was part of another band, I jumped on picking up that. I should have pulled up my original cassette of this, but I jumped on this band right away and have not looked back. I can honestly tell you, I picked up every release in and around release time, even if I had no money or not, and stuck with these guys. And they've had some really low points, I would say, but this, not only is this my number 6 favorite thrash band, this is my favorite album from them. This is Flotsam and Jetsam, No Place for Disgrace. 14 studio albums. Album number 15, which is called I Am the Weapon, is coming out September 9th, I think. I already have that one on that's an auto pre-order for me. Since they kind of reset in 2016 with their self-titled, and then even their last album that came out, Blood in the Water, just awesome. I love their current lineup is great. Still 2 original members with Michael Gilbert, which I will throw in. Michael Gilbert is underrated. He actually, if you don't know this story, he was considered when James burnt his hand, or was it the skateboarding accident, he was considered to fill in. It ended up to be John Marshall, who was in Metal Church. But yeah, Michael Gilbert, fantastic guitar player. He was considered to fill in at that time. But anyways, this was, and this, by the way, is a Music on Vinyl reissue. So it's a little more darker than the original CD I have from Elektra, which is more of a purple with the white logo. But, and yeah, you got your good old cover of Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting, which I don't mind, but just... I mean, yes, Doomsday for the Deceiver, no doubt. It's 1A and 1B plus. They're just fantastic albums. But this is another band that I will defend there's so many good albums. They go past their first 2 albums. And if you haven't explored some of them, I highly recommend the new since 2016. They're just putting out their 4th album on AFM Records, which does a great job too, by the way. But yeah, favorite track on here and favorite Flotsam song period is called N.E. Terror. Go check that one. I mean, just crank it. You will, you will be headbanging. It is awesome. But then we get into albums like their 3rd album, When the Storm Comes Down. Ultra thin production. That one could use a little bit of beefing up. I do have a Japanese version of that, which is better than the original by a touch, but that one still definitely needs a remaster for sure. Then they got into a period of, a couple of albums produced by Neil Kernon. If you're familiar with Neil, he's done shit, man. He has done anything from Queensryche to Cannibal Corpse, but Flots hooked up with them, and I still love this album. I'm going to hold this up. This is Drift from 1995. And that's the one thing, Eric's vocals are just, I just love them. They're just awesome. But check out, man, there's so many good songs on here, but I will say, check out Empty Air or Blindside. Oh, just great. Or even Smoked Out. This is just top-notch. Flots, not the thrashiest. And yes, there's, like I said, I think I said earlier, there's a few of these bands that they wavered. You wouldn't even call it thrash. And there's at least one band here that, I mean, they're no longer thrash, and almost could be argued that were they ever thrash. But they definitely have the thrashy elements, things like that. But all right, there's Flots. Number 7, Anthrax. Favorite album, always has been, always will be, Among the Living. This is just an album that I just never get sick of. I could just put this on every Monday morning and wait till the next Monday morning and put it on again. This is just 87. My discovery of Anthrax was 85 with Spreading the Disease, which is very high up on my list too. So I won't spoil if you are going to check out any of those ranking videos. Some of them need to be updated, and that's usually what I do every time there's a new album. I'll wait till I have a good grasp of it, and then I will insert or go back and redo a ranking video. But yeah, Among the Living, what can I tell you? I don't know. Just favorite track, everything. Indians, Cotton Amash. I mean, yeah, totally awesome. And this is one of my favorite Anthrax albums, but I'm going to throw it in there because I am also a huge Armored Saint fan, John Bush fan. And when this happened, you know what? I wasn't crushed, because this is kind of off the heels of Symbol of Salvation from Armored Saint, which is absolutely an awesome album produced by Dave Jordan. And so is this. You know what I'm going to hold up, but man, Sound of White Noise, this is just killer. Slight drop off for sure after this with the likes of Stomp 442 and Volume 8, stuff like that. But yeah, this is the definite high water mark of the John Bush era of Anthrax. Just thought I'd mention that for sure, which probably is no secret to you guys. All right, coming in at number 8, and these guys could definitely be higher, but there's just a certain period I got a cutoff point with them, and I don't dislike what they're doing these days. But anyways, Metallica, Ride the Lightning. And yeah, I really discovered them on Master of Puppets. I did know of them right before. I literally bought Master of Puppets days after its release in 1986. I got to see them on that tour. I've held up that ticket stub too many times. I won't pull it out. Anyways, I got to see them December of 1986. Metal Church opened for them. And it was just, only a few months after Cliff had passed away. We didn't even know who the new bass player was at the time. We were standing around, their bus came in, we got to see them come off. It was really cool. I'll never forget it. That was my thrash turning point for sure. But I've always loved Ride the Lightning just a slightly better than Master of Puppets. And I mean slightly. When I first heard Fight Fire with Fire, I thought, this is the heaviest shit on earth. I mean, how could anything be heavier? That's what I'm thinking at the time. But, you learn over the years that, it's not as extreme as it appeared to be, but it sure was back then. And I know a few of you guys have the same feelings as I do. But yeah, Metallica's still doing a good job. I mean, they're literally a juggernaut. And my son got to see them 1 week ago. He's traveling, and he got to see them in Madrid, Spain on the Sunday show. He didn't go to the Friday show, but he just had a blast. And I mean, there was that was a 70,000 seat venue, and he said it was 90% full. Just a great time. He had a blast. So I'm so happy he got to see him, which my son was born in 1996, my first son. And that's why I'm going to hold up this one. This is just a special meaning album, and I don't hate it. I really don't. And now that I said 96, you know what I'm going to say. wasn't the Metallica that I was, you know, used to on those first 4 albums and even the Black Album. But here's Load from 1996. Yeah, I mean, these covers, they're absolutely shit, but man, there's some good tracks on here. I don't even mind Until It Sleeps, but a couple of my really favorite songs on here are The House That Jack Built, King Nothing, Hero of the Day, Poor Twisted Me, Thorn Within, great track too. I didn't get to see them right away on these. I don't even know if it was one continuous tour, 96, but I did get to see them in 97 when Reload came out. I remember that as clear as day. They opened the show with the house lights on and they played So What. It was so cool. And another bonus was COC opened for them, Corrosion of Conformity. And I mean, I just love the Deliverance, Wise Blood era, or even, you know, Blind. I like Pepper Keenan. He's one of my favorite guys. So that was cool to see them too. All right, next up, coming in at number 9, and about doing it best to worst, it's like, okay, something's missing here. Is it still coming? I understand that little bit of element if people do ask me to do that. But here is, at the time, Discovery, 1986. Still my favorite Slayer album to this day, and that is Rain and Blood. I mentioned this on a video, I think a couple videos ago. This was the scariest shit that I was listening to. I couldn't even believe I was listening to something that fast. And I shouldn't say scariest, but definitely the most frantic. I mean, the scary stuff that I probably would be listening to would have been Merciful Fate. Kind of like I said, hiding those albums from mom and dad. You don't want them looking at those covers and waking you up for church on Sunday morning, something like that. But anyways, here's Rain and Blood. Enough said. I mean, post-mortem right into Raining Blood. And one of my favorite tracks on here is called Piece by Piece. Oh, yeah, it's so awesome. Angel of Death. I mean, you already know this album. You know it inside and out. No need to talk about it. But the one... Am I a first 5 album guy, or am I a first 6 album guy? Well, I think I am a first 6 album guy, but after that, you guys, I'll be honest with you, I could take or leave some of those Slayer albums. I don't dislike them, but I just don't go to them, but I still go to this one. And that is Divine Intervention. When did this one come out? 94, so there was a 4-year gap, but man, this one is... This is one that I didn't initially take to as fondly as I am right now, or do now, but yeah. If you stopped at Seasons, go back and check this one out again. Do me a favor, check it out. Yeah, definitely. I would say essential Slayer for sure. All right, last, taking up the 10th spot, and yeah. It's not going to be Death Angel. I wish there was 11 spots. Maybe Death Angel would be there. But I mean, like I said, you're splitting hairs with some of these bands. But I'll go back on just, you know, how these guys affected me, things over the years. But coming in number 10, and actually, and this is 4 bands in a row that I've shown that have only put out 11 albums total. So that's, I mean, you got Overkill at 20, and you got Megadeth at 16, but... Anthrax, Metallica, Slayer, and Exodus, all 11 studio albums, but here's number 10, Exodus, and my favorite album from Exodus, which is Bonded by Blood. Just, yeah, what can I tell you? Favorite track on here, always has been, always will be, and number 1 Exodus track, which is Metal Command. My second favorite Exodus track would be Chemi Kill. Discovered them in 87 by a mixtape that a friend made of mine, just awesome. And kind of a mention of the Rob Dukes era, which I didn't always take to from the start, but man, the music on this is my favorite from the Dukes era. This is the Atrocity Exhibition, Exhibit A. Got to see them on, was it this tour, when did this one go? Oh, 7. No, I saw them on Exhibit B tour in 2010. They were on the Gigantour with Metallica, with Megadeth, Testament, and Exodus. So I got to see the Dukes era, or Rob Dukes live in that. And this is that slipcase with the, I don't know if this is intended to be the real cover, but yeah. Tracks on here, actually the title track, it's a longer track, but there is a breakdown there about 3/4 of the way in, just awesome. And the intro, which is instrumental, it's called Call to Arms. It is a super builder. It's doesn't start off super thrashy, but then it just gets right into Riot Act and away we go. But yeah, if you're if you're just a Zetro guy, or a Bailoff, give the Dukes era a try. I give it more credit than I did before, put it that way, and that's definitely one that I would love to see reissued on vinyl. But there is my list, my 10 favorite thrash bands. Like I said, 137 studio albums between these guys, which includes the newest from Flotsam coming out right away. Who else? Well, I mean, Anthrax, come on already. Like this, I'll tell you, that's complete bullshit. 2016, let's go already. That was your last album. We got to get a move on things. Slayer got a few dates coming up. There's going to be no new album from Slayer. Highly doubt it, but I mean, never say never. Exodus jumped ship from Nuclear Blast over to Napalm Records, so they are working on their Napalm Records debut. That should be coming out soon. I would expect, I read some news about Testament. I think they're going to miss their old 4-year kind of their groove they've been in, because they're Alex said their stuff is probably not going to be ready till the end of the year. So I would say first quarter 2025. So yeah, I was looking forward to a New Testament album this year. I don't think that's going to happen. I hope there is a new Sodom album on the way. Kreator wise, you won't see a new album till 2026. That's pretty much what Millie said already. And yeah, I don't know, lots of these thrash bands still going. And like I've mentioned in other videos, when you're way back years ago, you're not thinking about, would I think I'd be sitting here today still listening to 10 active bands? Hell no, there's no way. But happy it's happening. Hope you enjoyed this video, and please let me know, give me your top 5, your top 10 thrash bands. Yeah, give me shit for Death Angel, but I'm sure they would take up the 11th spot for sure. And really enjoy those guys. I mean, they're not going anywhere in my collection, that's for sure. But hope you enjoyed this one. Until next time, stay heavy.